Okay, continue from where we left off. Okay, it seems that in the previous part here, when I connected that small face back into this piece here, I didn't notice that the other face here is still connected to this main piece, so I have to do the same for this area. So I'll have to disconnect, or rather connect this face back to this component here. So I need to select these two, okay, shift select, and then shift right mouse click, and then combine, go to the vertex, select all the vertices here, and then do a merge, and select this face and assign it with the existing material which I just created, and then it should fix this area here. Yep. Okay, good. Alright, so we can now look at the maybe this portion here, and then try to think about creating this this section here. Now, of course, since this is blended to the surface, right? Either we can texture this, or of course, cutting this will always involve changing the topology a bit. Let's try to see whether we can create this pattern. So I'm going to go to the material settings here and reduce the transparency. Let's go to level 1. Then we're going to use the knife tool, multi-cut tool, and then start to cut our shape here. Okay, let's tap one more time. I think it doesn't work, the knife tool doesn't work very well with symmetry on. Let me just verify that first. Okay, maybe I'll cut this section here, from here to here. Alright, manage to cut one section like that here first, roughly that's fine. Then I'll start from here again, resume the cut, and from here to here, right about here. Okay, I do not want it to stick to the edge, so I'll cut it away from the edge, and from here to here, and all the way to this edge here. And that should give me sufficient. Okay, on second thought, okay, I should be cutting from here. Let me press Z to undo. So cut this edge here, cut one more here, and press enter to finish, and then cut from here to here. Okay, so I know the trigger for this area here comes on a thin slot over here, so I will cut from this section to here like this. Okay, we'll fix the topology of that section later on, but you can see here, because of the multi-sided face, we have this weird multi-sided area here that we will have to fix. But let's go to selection and isolate this piece. Okay, let me undo the isolate, because we are in component mode. We have to be in object mode to isolate this. Then we're going to check the cuts are correct on the other side as well. So the faces here for these, for this, I can select them and delete it to create a slot for the trigger. Go back to level 1, and we're going to try to fix the topology here. Okay, so since there's a cut over here, I'm going to insert one edge to here and cut all the way to here to connect. And to make sure everything is four-sided, I'm going to start from this corner here to connect to this section. And I'm going to do the same for this one here. Now, I do not want to create a connection all the way to here, so I will insert one edge loop one vertex here somewhere. Actually, no, it's because this is a multi-sided face, so it wouldn't cut down all the way. So same for here as well. Okay, I have to edge loop here. I'm going to use my connect tool, so these two, use connect. Connect these two here. And select these two and connect. Alright, so every time you insert one edge loop, right, this area here will become flatter, so we have to adjust this by subdividing this first and then manually clicking it. You can see that we have already corrected all the four-sided. We've got one stray vertex here. I'm going to delete that. Okay, then that should fix the subdivision. Let's get out of the isolation mode, and then we're going to adjust these the other separated components just to fill up the gap. Okay. Alright, so the good thing now is that we have the topology to extend the, just push this back slightly. Okay, so we have another multi-sided face at the bottom here that we need to fix. And use the connect components. One more cut that we need to do from here to here. And I'm just checking for any other multi-sided faces, so if not, I think this is good. So right now I will have to move these straighten this out using scale. Alright, so just to create that slot. And we can now assign a red color to this section here. So just to create this portion here, right, requires you to do a lot of cuts. So I think in some other scenarios, right, it probably would be better to just texture this And right now I realize that this area here, okay, that is not curved enough, so maybe I will delete away this. Okay, I have to do a control delete so that the vertex here is not selected. So for this one here, just to get this curve right, I will deliberately give it a multi-sided face over here. Same for this one. Control delete, and let's see how far I can get this to match. And in fact, I don't think this one is working very well, so I'm going to undo that and just slide this back a little bit. Okay, and I'm trying to think how I can do this without destroying too much of the curvature here. So I think one way would be to create another edge loop here. Okay, and then have let's go to level 1 and see how this goes. Cut one section over here like that. Let's take a look at it, what it looks like on level 3. Well, I'm still ending up with a multi-sided face over here, so let's see how I can fix this. Okay, control delete, this one here. Okay, and then connect these two. It seems that it's probably better off to leave this as a multi-sided face. Yeah, because the curvature is actually looking much better as a multi-sided face, so I'm probably going to leave it as that. Okay, there's no rule that says that we can't do this, because probably after we subdivide this, okay, or we apply a smooth to it, you'll probably will break it the shape there. Yeah, but I think this edge tool is probably compressing this too much, so I'm gonna remove this and just revert to this. Yeah. Okay, let's go to level 1 and see what it looks like. Let me just spread out these a little bit. Okay, just to test this out, I'm going to where did this thing come from? So I'm going to test this out by duplicating this and see what it looks like when I apply a smooth to it. Okay, let's do a smooth. Let's do 2 divisions. Okay, 1 division is good enough, and we'll see how it looks like. Okay. So we ended up having this, we still get this nice topology over here. Yeah, so after we smooth it right, everything will still be converted into 4-sided faces. So I think this is fine. We're going to leave this as a multi-sided face for now. And we can change the color for this. I'm going to change the color. I'm not going to detach this panel. I'm just going to assign a new color. I'll do a darker shade of red just to match the iron itself. Yep, so That's how you create the slot with the proper topology, like cutting the holes and all that. So far we're only doing one hole, but if we look at the actual iron itself, let me just pull out the references. Okay, so you can see the bottom of the iron, right, where the steam slots are visible. So there are plenty of holes that we need to cut through for this, and other slots like that. I think in view of the length of the video, right, I'll probably will not go into detail into modeling all the internals. Okay, I'll just be focusing on what is visible. Yeah. So I will not be modeling the internals. Yeah. And over here there is a radial slot. Okay, and let's see where I can get more close-ups. Yeah, so a radial slot over here. So we had to cut a radial slot on that piece as well. This area here, we still need to narrow it down a bit some more. So let's try and check the back. Let's look at the reference here. So if I turn it at this angle, actually it looks fine. Trying to rotate the view to match the angle of the photograph. So it looks actually pretty similar already. So except maybe for the bottom here, I might need to trim this. And also earlier on, for this piece here, let me just change back the transparency. Material attributes, come on. Okay, let me just delete the way the history. Solid again. So we have an edge loop because we want to tighten the corners here that runs across all the way here. So we want to spread out this edge loop. So what you can do, you can select this end here and go over to the bottom here and holding down the shape and double click, and it should just select this section of the edge loop. So what I want to do is just spread it out. So we can use the sliding tool, or just press move, then holding down the control and shift, and then just spread it out so that it doesn't form a very hard edge like that. Okay, I think I've done enough changes so far for this. Let's see what else can we do in the next part. I think for the next part I'll probably work on this panel here, and then this front panel here, and to create the spray nozzle, and maybe even work on buttons and the slider. Then after that I'll work on holes on the iron plate. So I'll stop for this part.